All right, so this is a PEMDAS foldable, and so what I did is I folded it first, but I folded it so that it was kind of along this line, so that I could, that dotted line there. I folded it because it kind of overlaps a little bit, like right here, it overlaps, it's longer, the front's longer than the back, and then I just trimmed it off. I just trimmed off around here is all I did, and then I folded it, glued it in on page 5 of my INB. And then we will look at the inside and fill it out once you get that glued in. Actually, we'll go on in the same video, sorry. Alright, so hopefully you went ahead and glued it in. You don't have to, you can wait and glue it in later, but you want to have it trimmed before you start writing so that you don't go too far and then have to cut off your work. Alright, so do the trimming off, do the cutting, and then that's why I'll go ahead and put it in my journal, in my INB first, so that I know how much space I have to write. So when we evaluate an expression, okay, and we'll talk more about what does it mean to evaluate an expression. Well, all that means is I'm going to take some values and I'm going to plug them in or substitute them into my expression and then find a value for it. So that's what we use to evaluate an expression. And so when we do that, we're going to go through these steps right here. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to rewrite it, our expression. So this is our expression. And we're going to leave blanks or parentheses in place of the variable where the variables go. Okay, and so I'm going to have, and I'm going to put a parentheses around where the M goes, and then I'm going to put another parentheses here where I have this minus this, and then squared. So that was step 1. Okay, step 2 says substitute the numbers in for the variables. So in place of the M, I'm going to put a 3. In place of the P, I'm going to put a 7. And in place of the Q, I'm going to put a 4. So we've got that part, so that's step 2. Now for step 3, I'm going to use the order of operations to simplify. So my order of operations says I'm going to do my parentheses, what's inside my parentheses first. So this first set of parentheses is just a 3, nothing to simplify, it's just a 3. This next set of parentheses, I have 7 minus 4, so I do 7 minus 4 is 3, and then I square it. So I've done my parentheses, but now, because inside my parentheses, I don't have anything that I left to do inside the parentheses. And that's all it means is if there's inside the parentheses. Because now I'm going to look at, okay, I've got, the next thing I have after parentheses is exponents, okay, and roots. But mainly what we will use for Algebra 1 is exponents. And so that means I have to do my exponents next. And so my exponents, I have only this. So this squared only goes with what's inside this set of parentheses here. So this first 3 is going to stay out there. And then I'm going to rewrite this as 3 squared. Well, that really means 3 times 3, right? And 3 times 3 is 9. Then, now this set of parentheses right here is only meaning that means multiply, right? That's all that's meaning to do. And so now I'm ready to multiply and divide from left to right. So I multiply and divide going from left to right. And 3 times 9 is 27. And I'm down to just a single number, so I'm finished. Now, there's a difference between solving and evaluating. What do I not have in this expression? Okay. I don't have an equal sign. Here where I have an equal sign, those are called equations, not expressions. And we do those differently than what we do expressions. Because when we are looking at expressions, we're going to use our order of operations. We're going to solve it, or we're not going to solve it, we're just going to evaluate. Okay? We're going to substitute it, and we're going to simplify, or we will evaluate an expression. We don't ever solve an expression. And so that's something that you'll have to work with, because if there's no equal sign, then you can't go just adding one on there and making changes. All right? You have to go with what you have. and only use what you have. So that's why. So I notice I didn't put any equal signs anywhere here. Okay, just to kind of keep that in my mind, that I am not putting, yes, even though all of these things are equal to each other, this is equal to the next thing, is equal to the next thing, is equal to the next thing. I didn't put the equal signs because I don't want you to start thinking about, I'm going to erase those, because I don't want you doing equations right now. I just want you doing expressions. I just want you simplifying is really all you're doing. All right? So that is how we evaluate our expressions. We just went through our steps. Okay? We rewrote it using blanks, like we did here. We substituted in for our variables. So that's what we did with the blue, here, here, and here. And then we use the order of operations here to be able to simplify. So that's the PEMDAS video. So if you have any questions over that, let me know. You might write them down right now if you have questions, so that you can get those questions answered. So if you have a sticky note or something, you might stick it on your foldable there to make sure you can ask me a question about it. All right? So have a good evening.